Okay, well, I just went and looked at all the pods again. They're all still deep in cryosleep.
Are you really the captain of a vessel if you're in cryosleep the entire time? He's asleep the entire time.
Oh, yeah. I'm the captain of the ship. I need the best cryopod.
We're more captain-like than that guy.
Yeah.
It's us. It's just us. We're the only ones.
Yeah. In fact, maybe we could call the shots. At least it's just the two of us. We're to me, we are both co-captains of the ship right now.
I think that's fair. I mean, any objections? Oh, that's right. Everybody else is asleep.
Everyone in favor say aye.
Aye. You know, there is one cryo chamber that is unoccupied.
Okay, I'm listening.
I think we could do a little cryo sleep too, man.
Yeah, maybe a quick cryo nap. I mean,
I think we've earned it.
The two of us in this pod? So we go at the same time, right? Of course, that's what you're thinking, right?
It'd be weird if one of us had to stay here by ourselves.
Let's get in.
All right. Okay.
Ooh,
all right. It's not so bad.
Cozy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a little cold, but I guess to be expected.
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate you going ass to ass too.
You know, I think it was unspoken that was how we were gonna do it.
All right. Well, I guess we just cryo sleep now?
Yeah, dude. Okay, let's do it. I'm punching in.
Oh, this is great.
Ooh, it's getting chilly.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, this is a good idea.
Yeah. Night, night.
Night.
We ranking movies starring Vin Diesel and doing it in a way that is super official. Peer reviewed, our ranking system is unmatched. Science will prove if critics better than Pitch Black. This is backed by facts, analytics at the center. Scientifically accurate, not a bunch of banter. Experts in our field, this just makes our rankings better. It's the Diesel System with your host Christian and Spencer.
Welcome to the Diesel System, a scientific study that analyzes the films and roles of the most enigmatic goddamn movie star of our time, Vin Diesel. My name is Christian, joined here as always by Spencer.
Yo! Was that my thing? I remember saying that I was gonna have a thing. Was it yo?
It's welcome to episode 3 of the Diesel System. A fantastic thing has happened in between the production of the first 3 episodes of the show, and that's that first Spencer got COVID, and then I got COVID. So I don't remember how to do this at all.
Yeah, no, but hey, we're now stronger for it.
Yes.
I think, right?
Yes,
I can at least fight against COVID if it strikes during this episode.
I am very excited to talk about this week's movie because it actually falls into one of my favorite subgenres of movies, which is people getting eaten by things. From the Jurassic Parks to the Anacondas to the Crawls to the Tremors of the world. I love an ensemble that gets eaten by something in order of how famous that they are.
For this one, we're really going to be hitting a character that I think is, even on the Vin Diesel scale, undersung for how awesome he is. We're talking about Riddick in Pitch Black.
You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
On this planet, when night falls, terror comes out to hunt. Only light can keep it away.
We stay together, we keep the light burning.
But the light is running out.
A total eclipse.
Pitch Black.
I'm ready to talk about Pitch Black, a movie that is 10 million times better than I even remember. And I think it's in part because I 100% watched this movie on TNT only, is the way that I watched this movie. There were scenes in this movie where I was just like, whoa, I've not seen this. People getting their heads bit off and stuff. It just did not happen for me. Also loving seeing our man Vin Diesel swearing in this movie. Also, he's been a family man for so long, you know? It's like, wow, he just said the F word.
He says it a lot in this movie.
Yeah, I love it.
He says it to men, to women, to children, to God.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, he pretty much offends all types. There's definitely no prejudicial treatment in this, for sure.
Little did we know that this appearance would become one of his most iconic characters. But before Richard B. Riddick would go on to become an intergalactic savior, video game character, anime, he was first seen in this tiny little movie called Pitch Black. And I'm going to read you the synopsis now.
Let's go.
A commercial transport ship and its crew are marooned on a planet full of bloodthirsty creatures that only come out to feast at night. But then, they learn that a month-long eclipse is about to occur. Will a mysterious prison convict being transported on the ship end up being the one man who can lead the survivors off the planet? I love a nice, clean, easy plot that sets up just gruesome monster mayhem, and this movie wastes no time at all. The beginning of the movie, our space bus, everybody's fucking in cryo sleep. It opens with it crashing and everybody's freaking out. People are falling out of their pods.
Yeah, immediately. It's like, I don't even know why they're going anywhere. Where are they going? They're just like, crashing is how this movie starts. It rules.
Yep, the captain gets killed, and then it's like the docking pilot becomes the de facto captain, played by Rhoda Mitchell.
Badass, I think. A truly badass performance from her. She was able to go toe-to-toe, I think, with Vin Diesel. She was able to go eye-to-eye with him, which many actors have not been able to do. We've seen people be bad at it before.
Okay, so Spencer, give us the rundown. It's like 40 passengers. They land on this desert planet. Rattle off as many of the members of the ensemble as you can remember.
There's the one...
And they can be described in broad stereotypes. That is okay.
Yeah, the way that I was like, I'm not going to be able to remember any of these people's names. I don't even think they say some of their names in the movie. There's the cop, who was not a cop. He was like a mercenary, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was... obviously the person who I just kept calling my notes the pilot, which is Rhoda Mitchell. Mm-hmm. There was the dude who got eaten first by a thing. There's the lady who gets torn in half. That was basically her whole role.
I mean, you're overlooking, I think, the second strongest character here.
Oh, who would you say?
The Iman.
I think the Iman is too, played by, what's his name? Keith David, who played the Arbiter in Halo 2. That's how I know Keith David. He's like an amazing voice actor, but he is the Arbiter. Yeah, that's him.
He plays the president on Rick and Morty. He played, he was one of the dudes at the Outpost in The Thing. And he played Cameron Diaz's stepfather in There's Something About Mary. He famously, in the opening scene where Ben Stiller zips his wiener into his tuxedo pants, Keith David is the one who delivers the amazing line.
Is it DeFranco the beans?
So you have Rhoda Mitchell, you have Cole Hauser, who plays Johns, the generic bounty hunter, giving me Boston vibes.
Who hold on, no spoilers, we will talk about again, because do you know who he is? He's the drug dealer. I guess we won't talk about him.
We won't talk about him.
We won't talk about him again because he's the drug dealer in Too Fast, Too Furious, a movie that...
has no business.
Yeah, it does not belong within the Diesel system, actually. Oh, absolutely not. We'll never hear about him again, I guess.
We have, he's like an antiques collector. He's like the snooty British guy.
Yeah. I love this guy in this type of movie where a guy gets eaten. There's always a guy who is just like... completely impish, and he always gets eaten much later than he should. I love it. And it's always just his own hubris. Although he gets a really heroic moment when he dies. He like blasts fire out of his mouth at a bunch of monsters. I wish I could die that way.
I think the other significant member of the ensemble here is Jack, who is... I think at first presented as like a young boy, but then I think as the movie goes on, you realize it's a young girl. It's kind of a real fascinating character because like you're just watching her be much like the two of us on this podcast and be obsessed with Vin Diesel as soon as she lays eyes on him, just being like, what a cool motherfucker he is.
Yeah, if ever there was an analog for us in this movie, it was her. Right? It was like, oh yeah, I do need to buy some of those sunglasses ASAP.
And then mixed in a bunch of we'll just call them like cannon fodder. But then there's one last interesting person. Famed murderer, fugitive, sleeveless badass, Richard B. Riddick.
Richard B. Riddick. Dick Riddick? Is that really his name? Dick B. Riddick? I'm sorry.
Richard B. Riddick, escaped convict, murderer.
Oh, I love the look of Riddick because it's like he is like an action figure plus one thing. Like, okay, we got the base model of the action figure and let's throw some goggles on him, and there you go. His name's Richard B. Riddick, and he's got like, I don't know, he can like bend really good. He's really bendy, and boom, we got Riddick right off the shelf, ready to sell. Like, it's his whole aesthetic is incredibly minimal, I guess is what I'm getting at.
So, despite crash landing on a desert planet with homicidal, right? It's homicidal is the word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Despite crash landing,
homosexual.
Well, despite landing on his fucking planet with this like crazy badass maniac and no resources and no immediate way to get off the planet, they quickly realize that the bigger issue is that there is a subterranean colony of these like asshole, like hammerhead shark flying monster aliens who love the taste of human flesh. Fortunately for them, they are terrified. The sunlight will kill them.
Much like me. Yeah, the same thing happens to me. They're shining the light on my skin and it's like withering away. It's just like these creatures in this movie, yeah.
But as luck would have it, once every 22 years, there is an eclipse, which then gives an opportunity for these creatures to come up to the surface and wreak havoc. And wouldn't you know it?
That's the day Richard B. Riddick came to town.
I liked Pitch Black.
Almost no notes, really. I loved it. I think this movie moves. It's almost 2 hours long, but it doesn't feel it.
But, you know, we're not here to talk about what we liked about the movie. We're here on Official Science Business. We're here to put the character of Richard B. Goddamn Riddick in his first appearance through the Diesel system.
Some of the greatest scientific minds of our time have developed this method to assess every single movie containing Vin Diesel. So now we're just here implementing that system to get a detailed analysis and a definitive ranking of every Vin Diesel movie. That is the Diesel system.
The second half of that was so strong. The beginning of it
Okay.
was not as strong.
Okay.
Take it again.
Okay. So the reason we're here is because some of the greatest scientific minds have developed a method to assess every movie containing Vin Diesel. So now we're just here implementing that system to get a detailed analysis and definitive ranking of every Vin Diesel movie. That is the Diesel system. No, you didn't like
Beautiful.
it? Oh, okay. I was nervous. I was like,
I was like, what the
running out of air there. I was like, just like trying to. I was vibing with it, but maybe not. I look over. Maybe
It's
you're
good.
judging.
We're going to do it 98 more times.
Yeah, great. I've got that many takes left in me.
I'm excited to see, obviously, no spoiler here, Riddick is in multiple movies. And I'm excited to sort of see how he comes out of the Diesel system in Pitch Black versus in his later movies, because it is a weird way to introduce a character like Riddick who winds up being sort of this like amazing central figure in the potential like saving of the galaxy. You know what I mean? It's almost like meeting James Bond in a movie about like an elevator that breaks down.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. You're totally right.
You know, it's like, oh yeah, I do a bunch of really cool stuff. Like among them is like getting us out of this broken down elevator. But like, you should really see me do my fucking thing.
Yeah, I have my good days. Yeah,
also,
for sure.
Also, noticing a trend already in just the first 3 episodes, how like smart he was to allow himself to not be the main character of a movie, but then steal the movie.
What's wild is these movies that we're talking about are very early in his career. How is he getting to make these calls? How does he seem to have so much auteur style power over his role in these films? I have no idea.
I can't say, but he clearly it's skills he had from the beginning. And that skill might have something to do with the first letter of the Diesel system, which is D and stands for Dick Energy, which
Big dick energy.
His name is Dick.
Yeah. The energy of this dick is off the charts.
Moving on to I. I stands for either intelligence, integrity, or intensity. All Vin Diesel characters embody all of these traits, but every single one charts more in one than the others. Spencer, what do you think tips the scales here? Is it intelligence, integrity, or intensity?
This is really tough for me. Like, genuinely, I thought about this in the most. So we've got intelligence is key for Riddick. So he's like very patient. He never gets frustrated. He always has a solution. He's clever, and he always knows what someone is going to be doing before they even know they're going to do it. Like, he is just way ahead of you. Integrity to me doesn't matter for Riddick.
I mean, he was literally about to leave. He was going to leave a holy man and like a child behind on the planet at the end.
Yeah, I think integrity, he will protect you, but he will never save you. And we see this play out through this movie several times with all the characters, people. He knew to lay down. He lays down. Lady doesn't lay down. He doesn't like go jump in front of the hideous creatures that are attacking. He says, that's tough for her. Integrity is not important to Riddick. But do you want to take us to intensity?
There's a scene early in the movie where he attempts to escape and he's captured and he's like classic chained up with his like hands behind his back. And my guy like dislocates both of his shoulders and does like a full like rotation of his arms.
Okay, I just want to definitively ask, Vin Diesel did not do that for real, right? I'm not sure. It looks so good. I don't know. It's not CG, right? I don't know.
It is CG. It's totally
it is.
CG.
It's CG.
Yeah.
It looked very good.
It's better CG than in certain parts of the movie. But it is. Yeah.
Okay,
and that was the part where I was like, oh, I think this dude rides entirely off of his intensity. And let's not forget he got prison LASIK, which allowed him to just sort of like really boost up his intensity.
Yeah.
He has these weird. How would you describe his eyes?
For the first half of the movie, Vin Diesel's eyes are very much covered, and I thought they really took away one of Vin Diesel's best acting tools, which is his eyes. And then boom, second half of the movie, he's emoting so much with those eyes. They're adding CG effects to his eyes to make them even more emotive. It was amazing. I petered out.
I just kind of missed it because and it was just like a slight shine to his eyes.
Well, you fell asleep for half of the movie.
I know.
You can't be like, I missed it. It's literally. Do you know why his eyes were like that?
Because he's cool. I don't know. Like, it wasn't the real.
He got prison. That's why I called it prison LASIK. He got prison LASIK so that he could see in the dark. And that's why, go figure, things work out for him on this planet. And he's the only one who could take them off world, is because he can see in the dark. Yeah, you're like, eh.
Yeah.
It's a strange aesthetic choice that isn't rooted in story.
Now he's the only one who can drive at night. That's why he got them off world.
Also, looks cool.
It does look cool. I love the glint of it. Oh my God. And I think it really adds to that intensity also. It's just the way that it's just every moment that he has his eyes uncovered on screen is you're being drawn to them.
Yeah, it's a lot of him like lunging at people too, just sort of like, psych them out, like, which is like, that's pretty intense. Riddick's a pretty intense guy.
That's some Butcher Bay shit, that prison shit that he's into. Be the biggest guy, and he was.
This next one is an interesting category. It's the first E in Diesel, and it stands for eroticism. Now, without your giggle.
Okay, sorry.
Wait.
Eroticism.
I don't think there's the circumstances here. It's not really the place for things to be sexy in the plot of the movie. But there's still something about Riddick. And I think it's the second thing he says in the movie. He has the opening VO, which is, I can smell a woman. So he can smell women. Yeah. Which is like, it's erotic. I don't know if it's erotic in a good way, but.
Yeah, it would lead to say he could smell the men also. It wasn't like, I just default to man and then I start sniffing. Like, it's just so strange that I smell a woman. Now, I will say, he is practically asexual in this movie. At the very least, he is not attracted to anyone that he's with in this movie. I think Riddick might be like, yeah, I don't need to do it. Like, I'm not trying to hook up with anybody here. I mean, my thing is with the, right? Wouldn't you say? He's like practically asexual.
I think this is the least sexy Vin Diesel movie.
Do you think Riddick is less erotic than the Iron Giant?
The Iron Giant.
Dude, we know that the Iron Giant does not have a penis.
But he might be nicer to you though if he takes you out.
Oh, well, that's not erotic.
Yeah.
Okay, the Iron Giant is not taking. He might take me out for a nice time, but he's not taking me out for an erotic time.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll give that to you. Riddick fucks.
Riddick fucks.
How long do you think it's been since Riddick has laid with another person?
Gotta be. How long was he in jail for?
Do you think he's sort of one of those being like, nah, she's not hot enough, but really it's just like he's terrified to go talk to like to anybody?
His own insecurity, just like, I don't know. Do you think she really would like someone like me? You know what? It doesn't even matter. I don't even like her.
So I would agree. I would put Riddick lower on the erotic scale than like a Dominic Toretto, but
yeah. Well, I'll say, okay, the scene at the end of the movie when Riddick is talking to the pilot lady and whose name again escapes me. Let me get that shit. At the end of the movie when Riddick is talking to Maya, I should have got the name.
Say the blonde lady. She's the only blonde.
I'm trying to be.
I'm leaving it all in.
Anyway, yes, this woman whose name is worth remembering, and I just can't. When he's talking to her, there is no hint of any sexual power or anything. Something that, let's say, a movie we haven't talked about yet, but imagine if it was Triple X in this scene where it's like there's this woman who needs to get on his ride. Yeah, it's like, I'm not saying he would be problematic, but I am saying that there would at least be sexual tension between those characters that is not present with Riddick.
There would be an implication that, like, were we not here right now, I would actively be trying to have sex with you.
Yeah.
That Riddick, I don't think he's less concerned with.
Yeah, Riddick isn't like, hey, how about me and you go get on this plane and do what? Escape only. You know, we're only escaping on this plane, even though it's just the two of us.
You're going to have a control panel. I'm going to have a control panel. You're not my type.
Yeah, that's what it is.
For Vin Diesel's human characters, in Pitch Black, an erotic low point.
I agree. But do you want to talk about a high point? Let's talk about the S in the Diesel system's sleeves on this movie are blown wide off. Richard B. Riddick's arms have just never seen sleeves in their lives. Just no sleeves have ever touched those things. Wouldn't you say?
100%.
Yeah.
1,000%. On like a planet with like 4 suns, you'd think there would be some effort to like shield yourself from sunburn. And this dude is bald, sleeveless, and just making no effort to cover up.
Notably sensitive to light. like part of his character's sensitivity to light. He's just sitting drinking alcohol on a big deserty hill. Down. Those sleeves, if he was sitting in, he's looking at the other people on the crew like, how do you wear that stuff? I wish I didn't have to wear this shirt that I'm trying to avoid calling a wife beater. Hold on. I'm trying not to wear this tank top even.
Yeah. A space wife beater.
For your space wives.
Interesting.
You guys know that only in America they call it a wife beater, right?
They don't call it that in Italy?
Boom, Italy. You burn.
Yeah.
The interesting the interesting thing to me about the sleeves is that like I think like there's a natural element to all these characters, whereas like there's a peacocking element to it. And obviously if this dude was in prison, I think part of you in prison is like willing to fight and able to fight, but not necessarily wanting to fight, which is why you have the sleeves out. But also I will say that if he had like a down jacket on or even like a denim jean jacket, he wouldn't be able to like break his fucking arms like he did to get out of the thing. So like there is a practicality sense to it too.
I feel like the sleeves in this movie, for every character kind of reveals something about them. The Iman is covered at all times, very pious, right?
But that's actually because Keith David was actually bigger than Vin Diesel was when they shot the film.
Is that true?
No, it's not true.
Oh my God, I was so ready to buy it.
It's like he's jacked,
Put
dude.
him in some, I don't know, something. He was actually just a normal dude in the first like script. And then it's like, no, he needs to be like an Iman.
Yeah. Can you get him something flowier?
But then what about... again, the pilot. I'm still hanging on a thread here. She starts out fully sleeved. And where does she go as she progresses? Sleeveless. At the end of the movie, she has no sleeves. Even when she meets her eventual fate, it's a sleeveless fate. I think that sleeves play a bigger role in this movie than we may have imagined.
And of course, the aliens, who they don't get names at any point, right? Awesome. Nobody tried to call them like the Dark Hoarders. Like, no, they're just the fucking things.
That's all they were doing when they saw that thing. Trying to name it. No.
We didn't even learn the name of the planet.
We didn't?
What's the name of the planet? What's the name of the female lead?
Dude, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm the worst person to ask. Yeah. What's the name of who we keep referring to as the main character? I don't know.
In summary, no sleeves. We might as well just go straight into the next one here. The next letter in the Diesel system, which is emotion.
Diving into the emotional state of Riddick, I think this is a lot deeper than it seems at first. He is a very deep character, mostly because he spends so much time in thought. He is always, it's almost analytical more so than emotion. So like, when does emotion really come into the picture for Riddick? I'm not sure.
I actually have a bit of audio to play here. This is an interview with Vin Diesel from 2013. This is sort of his distillation of the Riddick character.
I guess the character has so much going on that he denies you of that it's interesting. He denies the audience. He denies the viewer. He denies the people that are around him of ever getting into it, ever getting inside. And yet, everyone feels like they have some idea of what's going on inside of Riddick.
Wow. That is very deep, that he's like, that Riddick just lets other people think what they think about him and lets them even think what he's thinking. He doesn't let it get to him.
My favorite scene in the movie is when the Amon has to find a moment with him to just be like, you should pray to God with me, Riddick. Pray with me. And then he's like, I know you don't believe in God. And then Riddick is like, well.
Got it all wrong, holy man. I absolutely believe in God. And I absolutely hate the fucker.
Yeah. Fucking hate the guy. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have this burned into my brain because I would have been a really problematic 13-year-old for sure.
Yeah, I would have repeated that.
Yeah. One thing.
Unprompted.
There's something about him that you just know, we got to stand by this guy. I think it might be just his emotional intensity that he has.
And I think this is the beginning of a thread that we're going to see a lot more throughout his career, which is the Vin Diesel like archetype is a little like anti-cop, anti-structure, anti-establishment. Like, and he's literally telling people to not trust a cop.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Every time.
Yep.
It would help if he ever missed.
I think our fake cop is going to be something we discuss here on as we close out the Diesel system, because the L in Diesel, of course, stands for losers. Who does Vin Diesel beat up? Who does he overthrow? What metaphor does that adversary represent? Spencer, in Pitch Black, who do you think takes the L?
Ooh, okay. So I think it's the concept of fear that is being taken on in this movie. Anyone who succumbs to fear is immediately killed. Whether it's the fear of like conspiracy against them, boom, you're killed. Like if you're afraid of this creature, well, wait until you try and run away from this creature. That's when it's going to attack. Every character is even warned by Riddick, don't give in to fear. That's the thing that he's always reinforcing when he gives anyone any advice. Don't do this because that would be giving into your biggest fear. And in his final challenge to the pilot, he says to her, come run away with me, give into your fear. And she's like, you're fucking with me. Even in this moment, she trusts him, even though he's telling her to do the wrong thing, but she's trusting that he is lying, which is just a really wild thing for that character to do.
You're so into me. Stop it.
So it's this test that he puts before her, this ultimate test of, can you overcome your fear even with temptation of escape? And she's able to. And then ultimately her reward is what? she gets to have like a meaningful death at the end, honestly, right?
In her death, he learns something about himself through the lessons that she did. I'm sure she wouldn't have preferred it that way.
Yeah, she did not go to that planet to teach Vin Diesel a lesson.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a conversation she would have been willing to have on the fucking spaceship, like leaving. Also, he was right.
Yeah,
because she fucking died.
Yeah,
to save the Amon and Jack, the young girl. Also, the Amon and Jack both represent the antithesis of fear, right?
Yeah.
Sort of hanging on to the idea of
faith.
Faith and hope.
Yeah,
whether it be in God, which in the case of the Amon, or in Riddick.
Yeah.
Just,
our savior,
our
Riddick.
savior.
Yeah, I actually have a crucifix with Riddick on it in my apartment hanging. Yeah.
My God would beat up your God.
Yeah.
We've done our job. We've done our part. The diesel system is crunching the numbers. It's crunching the data. All the stuff we've been put into it. It's doing its thing. I think you can actually hear. You can hear it.
I can hear its whiz bangs and goo-gaws.
So while the very real machine that we have does that in the background, why don't I actually walk you through where our boy was in the year 2000 for a segment called A Moment Vin Time. It's the year 2000. Vin Diesel is far from a household name. Iron Giant hadn't come out yet. Fast and Furious was not even a thing yet. And Vin Diesel's claim to fame at the time was that he was filming a movie with Steven Spielberg. Little did we know that he's going to be the first character to die in that movie. But that's the heat he had going on him. Spielberg took a shine to him. While this is happening, and this is the most bit of research I've done for anything, is that I finally learned how to pronounce the director's name of this movie. Pull it up, and you attempt. And
I'll give it my best try.
I've been a fan of this guy's movies for a fucking long time, and for the life of me, like I did not know how to say his name. And why don't you give it a shot? Give it a shot for the listeners at home. How would you pronounce his name?
Oh wait, I'm gonna take a bold one. And is it David Twohy?
It's David Twohy.
Yo! Oh my gosh! It is literally spelled Twohy. It was a really wide swing, but I think I knocked it out of the park, right?
Yeah.
Twohy.
David Twohy.
The number 2. HY.
He's casting this sci-fi movie out in the desert. But did you know that Vin Diesel was almost not Riddick?
Oh, I was hoping there was some wrinkle like this where you'd bring and just be like, did you know originally it was going to be who? Who was originally going to be Riddick?
There was pressure from the studio to cast somebody with a much more bankable name. You know what? I'll let him explain it.
I was down in Australia in pre-production, and we still hadn't cast the Riddick role. And people were getting nervous. And so somebody from Radar said to me, how about Steven Seagal? He gets the movie made.
What?
And I said, I'm not going to do that. And they said, well, David, you may have the choice of making the movie with Steven Seagal or not making the movie at all. That was one of those moments where you think, where you're on the phone and you realize this is a life-changing moment right here. You know, which way am I going to go?
Wow. Steven Seagal?
Mm-hmm.
That is so unbelievable. I looked it up just now. At the time, he was 50 years old. So there was going to be a 50-year-old man bending his body and like being all chained up. And I'm to believe he's this internet dude, the opening like monologue.
I smell a woman. I smell a woman in here.
I mean, yeah. Just like, okay, what if for the fight scene I'm just sitting down the whole time? Maybe that's Riddick's thing as he sits while he fights.
Yeah. The monsters fly at me, and one by one I deflect them.
I mean, there is no version. Every scene I want to see is side by side with the Steven Seagal universe version of this movie.
Do you want to know how he blew the Seagal meeting?
Oh, how?
You remember the scene in the movie when Riddick uses the engine grease to shave his head?
Yeah.
He was like, hey, Steven, what do you think about that scene? And this is 2000 era Seagal when the ponytail was
ponytail.
Fucking king, right? And he was like, I don't know. Maybe we don't do that. And I think that was sort of a sticking point of just being like, well, it's very important for the character. It's showing this and this and this and this resiliency. And I think Seagal doubled down on the whole like, well, Samson has his hair, and maybe if I lose mine, you know, people might want to recognize the ponytail.
What if my hair doesn't grow back? What do I do? Just say it.
Just the thought of sort of like the insecurity of being like, what if they don't recognize me without my ponytail?
There's no way this movie is good with Steven Seagal anywhere near it. There's just no way. Imagine if they made 3 movies and an anime with Steven Seagal.
Let's talk critical reception. I have the info in front of me. Do you guys want to guess what you think the Rotten Tomatoes score is first for Riddick?
So I haven't looked this up, but my guess is that it is barely not rotten, is my guess. I'm thinking like 58%.
Yeah, I'd go that or like 68%.
68?
68%?
Because it's for fresh, it's 70 or more, right?
Yeah.
I think people are going to hold this to a very critical lens, and I think it's going to be like 58.
Well, 59%.
No way, yo! I mean, I dissected that. That is wild.
With a tomato meter of 59%. The critics' consensus is, despite an interesting premise and a star-making turn from Vin Diesel,
yes,
Pitch Black is too derivative and formulaic to fully recommend to sci-fi or action fans.
Boom. I mean, I think that is very disrespectful and very much in the time. I think that we were really in a glut of action, like sci-fi movies at the time, and we knew what was working and kind of weren't willing to deviate. And I think that's the critical reception of this movie is a reflection of that.
And then I know we always like to point to our friend Roger Ebert. Ebert's review from January 1st.
Can I guess on this that he gets it? I think he gets it. Or at least understands it and maybe sees its flaws.
It's not for him.
Yeah, but I think he might enjoy this. I'm scared.
His review from January 1st, 2000. Woke up on New Year's Day and was like, I gotta get this out. How sad is it that humans travel countless light years away from Earth, only to find themselves inhabiting the same tired, generic conventions?
Oh, okay. He misses it sometimes.
2 out of 4 stars.
Oh, gosh. 2 out of 4 stars. I thought he was a Vin stan. Well, he wasn't at this point, at least.
Mm-hmm. Despite a 59% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, people had fun with Pitch Black. People really latched onto the Riddick character, and then we would go to see Riddick actually have a long, fruitful career. And I think that's due to people's interest in Vin Diesel, and I think their investment into the character. Because watching it back, it's sort of, 20 for something that's 22 years old. I had a lot of fun with it. Like I could sit and point out flaws with it, but it's like I said, I'm a fan of the genre of people getting chomped up and eaten by things, and I'm a fan of the Vin Diesel genre itself.
Wait, do you hear that, Christian? I think the machine. I can hear it. It's printing out. Hold on. Oh my God, this is a big one. Okay, here it is, and we're looking, and okay, so obviously number 1 is Fast and the Furious, and then look, oh my gosh, number 2. Pitch Black beats out the Iron Giant and is number 2 right now, the number 2 definitive Vin Diesel movie. You heard it here first, scientifically proven.
And listen, we haven't seen the full capabilities of the Riddick character, so interested to sort of see when we dive into the other ones.
Yes, the true question of the podcast is Riddick better than Pitch Black? We will find out in the future for sure.
I had a lot of fun with Pitch Black, but the show must go on. There are tens of other Vin Diesel movies we have to watch. Spencer, what's next? Give us a little taste.
We're coming off of Pitch Black, a rated R, intense movie, but now we are jumping into 2005 with The Pacifier.
Oh, Walt Disney's The Pacifier.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it. He's taking care of babies, smelling poop. Don't worry. Vin Diesel's on the case.
Is there anything he can't do?
I would say so far, I haven't seen anything he cannot do.
Well, we got a movie to go watch. But yeah, that does it for another episode of the Diesel System. Spencer, let's get out of here.
We can't leave yet. We gotta say goodnight.
The Diesel System is a Casa Linda production, hosted by Spencer Campbell and Christian Silva. Produced by me, Ulysses Morales. Our executive producer is Vin Diesel, whether he likes it or not. Music and sound design courtesy of Audio Blocks. Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever books are sold. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The Diesel System. Bye!
Have you been saying Iman this whole time?
No.
You've been saying Imam?
Yeah.
I think I've been saying Iman.
No. It's Imam. That's the word.
Don't look at me.
I'm not looking at it. Well, I'm looking at you for comfort right now.
I think it's okay. It's okay that you didn't know that word, Christian.
It's not racist at all.
Yeah. But maybe do a little research.
Family, 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 family.